Hey, what's going on? Happy Teenager Tuesday, parents. Welcome back to the first episode of 2023 with our parents this year. I'm probably saying Happy New Year. I'm probably the latest person to say Happy New Year because we're past 2 weeks into the new year. If we haven't got the chance to meet, my name is Will Perry. I'm the lead student pastor at Hope Fellowship. And what I want to do with this first episode is just to go through three key things that are on the calendar for this coming year. The first, really three things within the first 6 months of the year, as well as what is coming up on 2023 on the Parenting Podcast. So not a ton of insight, not a lot of tips, but to really just kind of give you some information on what you can expect coming up, as well as important dates. The very first important date for you to know is Friday, March 24th. Friday, March 24th. What that is a intentional parenting seminar. It is an intentional parenting seminar. In years past, we've done a parenting class called Parenting in the 21st Century, or different parenting classes at different campuses. What we want to do with this is get parents of little kids, older kids, every parent in between, parents, guardians, grandparents who have custody right now. The point of this is to be able to grow as parents of the next generation as a whole. And so Intentional Parenting Seminar is a one-day seminar on March 24th from 7 p.m. to 9:30, and that is only $15 a person, or if you're able to come as a couple, that is $25 as a couple. Now, who's coming? Who's going to come and speak and bring the content for that? Philip and Diane Comer, they're authors, they're pastors, and leaders of next generation. You can find a lot of their content, all of their content, at intentionalparenting.org, intentionalparenting.org. We always strive at Hope, we always strive to bring the best presenters, the best content that we believe will be helpful for you as a parent, as a guardian, as a mentor of the next generation. And so we're really believing and are very excited to bring Philip and Diane in to help us grow in how we lead the next generation. The second date to know for student ministry at Hope is Movement Conference. Movement Conference is the last weekend of February. It is that Friday and Saturday of February 24th and 25th. What that is a 2-day conference for middle schoolers and high schoolers. It's a 2-day conference where we really lean into a theme and growing in our understanding of who God created us to be, our purpose. At Hope Fellowship, our mission is to invite everybody to know Jesus and help them move to the closer to the center of God's purpose for their life. And Movement Conference is that movement towards the center of God's purpose for their life. And our theme this year, I believe you'll be excited about this, is wisdom. Wisdom. Specifically out of Proverbs 27:12 says, a prudent person foresees danger and takes precaution. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. A wise person, this is what we're talking about. A wise person sees the warning signs and takes action. How can we help our students be wise to see the signs of danger, to see the signs of their life going in the wrong direction, and to take action? An unwise person ignores them and suffers the consequences. We don't want our students to suffer consequences, unnecessary consequences. And I really feel the Spirit leading us to lean into wisdom as a whole. We have amazing speakers for that, many speakers that are coming back. Some speakers include Whitney Jones. She was a basketball player at the University of Oklahoma. She is coming back from last year. She spoke all about leaning into God's gifts. Her husband is Landry Jones. Maybe you've heard of him. He played quarterback at OU and for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's coming in and talking to our guys about how can you use wisdom with the gifts and talents that God has given you. So many amazing speakers. Our own Pastor John is coming to kind of really lean into that idea of a prudent person sees danger and takes action. How can you see danger coming? How can you take action from that? So Movement Conference is amazing. I think it's the second biggest thing that we do behind summer camp. And number three, the big thing on the calendar, number three is summer camp look on the website for details when it comes to summer camp. The summer camp fills up. Every year, it filled up very quickly last year. Summer camp filled up. We went on a wait list before spring break last year, so make sure your student is signed up for camp, have their spot reserved. All you have to do is pay the deposit to have their spot reserved. So Movement Conference, summer camp, and intentional parenting. Again, intentional parenting is Friday, March 24th. Now, what do we have coming up this year when it comes to this podcast? Well, starting out the year, we always do a Facebook survey, and on the Facebook survey, we had over 400 people reply, vote, add comments on what was important to you, what was important to parents, and how can we as a ministry, we as leaders, we as people who work day in, day out with the next generation and with parents, how can we best set you up to give you the resources that you need the most? And so on that, starting actually next week, we're starting a 5-part series on friends, on friendships, on good friends, on loneliness, on being friend zoned, on what do you do with your student when they have bad friends? How can you navigate when you see your student from your perception, this is not a good friend, and what do you do with that? So we're taking 5 of the next 6 weeks to talk about friends and friendship. Within that, actually on Valentine's Day is coming out. Very excited about this. Valentine's Day marks our 100th episode, 100 episodes of the Parent Podcast. And on that, it is going to be a very special episode, doing a lot of giveaways. There's going to be special giveaways, including giving away 1 camp for free. So there's going to be a giveaways that we're doing for that. So make sure that you tune in on Valentine's Day. It is only going to be about 10 minutes of your Valentine's Day. So tune in there and share that episode like crazy. Other stuff, other topics we're covering. We're going to do another parent Q&A. So please send in your questions. You can email them to me at wperry@hopefellowship.net. Many of you, we follow each other on Instagram. You can message me on Instagram. What our Q&A, we're working on bringing in somebody very special. Don't want to announce just yet, but who may be doing that parent Q&A for a few weeks. There's another thing that you asked. In fact, the thing that you asked for the most is how do I parent my student to be Christ-centered in a anti-Christ-centered world? Not just like not Christian, but sometimes actively against Christian. We'll be talking through that for a number of weeks. I think right now I have that as a 6-week series, maybe a 5-week series. But Joseph Kellogg, who's an amazing pastor, amazing leader, has 4 students, has a senior in high school right now. He's been doing so much work with his students when it comes to this, with his family, that him and I were talking on the phone today. Can't wait to bring in him and his wisdom on all of this, on how to parent in a towards Christ-centered community, Christ-centered person, parent, student. Other things that we're doing is talking through transitions. Later in the year, we're going to be talking about LGBTQ and how to navigate those conversations. And along the way, we'll be bringing in counselors and speakers and just experts in the world, just like we have the last 2 years. Believing that this podcast is going to be beneficial for you, beneficial for your family. And I wanted to say real quickly, please like, share, subscribe, follow this channel. I believe this is a great resource, not only for people inside of our church, although it is made for people inside of our church in mind. However, I believe, man, that God has allowed us to bring something that can be helpful for families around us. So please, please, please share this podcast with as many people as possible. Maybe not this episode, because it's probably a boring episode. Is just announcements of what's coming up. But it takes a village. And like we said in episode 1, we want to be a part of that village. So signing off today, as always, remember, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we. Have a great week. We'll see you next week for part 1 of Friends.